What's cracking? This is JJ Peters from Deez Nuts, and you're watching PITCAM.tv.
Hey, I'm Monica with PITCAM, and I'm here with JJ from Deez Nuts. Hey.
Hey.
How's the tour going?
The tour is going splendidly. It's going amazingly well. I couldn't be happier with it.
How's Europe compared to Australia for you guys?
Turnout-wise, it's a lot stronger for us here. We have a stronger fan base here, I think, because we spend more than 3 months of the year touring in Europe, and we're here more often than we're at home. So it's a bigger turnout out here. But on top of that, I feel like the fan base out here is very loyal, and it grows every time we come out here. So that's why we focus out here a lot. So it's good at home as well, but we love it out here.
I was actually told recently that Australia is sort of in hardcore mode these days. Do you agree?
It depends what you mean. Like, are you talking about like grassroots hardcore or like?
I think more like the commercial side to it, you know, that it's hard for other bands in other genres to make it because there's, you know, the Australians are so into, you know, hardcore and metalcore.
Yeah. That's definitely, it's definitely a thing. Like, there's huge bands like Parkway Drive, Amity Affliction, and, you know, a bunch of North Lane are a huge band at the moment. They're all bands that are like topping the charts in Australia and really breaking through into the, I'd guess, you know, sort of top 40 scene and whatnot. So. Yeah. Heavy music's definitely taking over in Australia, which is awesome. It's great because it gives you know, smaller and younger hardcore and metal bands and whatnot opportunity to break through into that as well. So it's rad.
Are you still considered grassroots in Australia as far as hardcore goes, or are you in the commercial scene? I
think we're kind of in no man's land. We're not quite as big as the bands that I just mentioned, but we have a steady, solid fan base. We just we don't really fit into any pigeonhole, no matter where we are. We kind of just do our own thing and you know, just kind of push ahead, and we have our own sort of grassroots fans.
You released a new album earlier this year called About It.
Yeah.
Is this one the Deez Nuts album?
I think it is. It's like for me, it's a different album. Like, it's how I feel about it is different to the other albums because I wrote and recorded all the other albums by myself. Like, I tracked all the drums and guitars and everything by myself. So this time around, we wrote and recorded as a full band. So that was the first time I'd done that under the you know, Deez Nuts umbrella or whatever. So this is the first album to be a full band for me. You know what I mean? Like, feel like a full band, like a real band. You know what I mean? It wasn't just my project that I was doing by myself. It was other people invested in it as well. So it's my favorite album, and I'm the most proud of this album.
So it's more of a team effort, this one?
Exactly, yeah. Like, it was everyone bouncing ideas around and doing things in a more traditional sense, like actually rehearsing together and writing together and tracking and recording together. So it's, it feels like a real album to me rather than something that I just put together by myself.
It's got a lot of guest appearances. Why did you decide to do so many of them?
Because we got a lot of talented friends. And the most important thing for us about having guests or even people that just do the artwork or recording, whatever, we only work with friends. Like, that's a really important thing to us. And so when it comes to guests, it can only be people we're friends with as well. But like I said, we're just really blessed to be friends with people that we grew up listening to, and now they've become friends of ours. And you know, peers of ours are amazingly talented people as well. So when it came time to sort of pick bits for people, if a part in a song spoke to us and it sounded like someone would kill it on that part, then we'd reach out to them. Like Band of Brothers, as soon as we heard that bit, we're like, well, we need a clean singing part. Reached out to Sam, he jumped straight on it. When there was, you know, the song that we did with Freddie, we reached out to him, etc., etc. So it was just, if a song spoke to us and, you know, we thought we needed someone on it and one of our friends fit the bill, then we reached out to him.
How was the album received by the fans?
Extremely well. Like, there's been a lot of positive feedback, very little negative feedback, which is different for us because we usually get a lot of fucking shit talk. But it's been pretty much, you know, 95% positive, which is good.
At what point did you decide that you wouldn't or didn't want to do both Deez Nuts and Prom Queen?
Pretty much when Prom Queen became a full-time band again. We managed to, you know, make it balanced between both bands before, when Prom Queen was just a part-time band. Like, in the last couple of years, it's been sort of on and off hiatus, and I could work around DN and still do both. But once Jonah left Bring Me and wanted to do Prom Queen full time again, I could only have time for one full time band, and I've been doing DN for like 6-7 years now and investing all of my energy into that. So that's where not my loyalties lie, but that's where my dedication is at this point in time. So everything's cool with everyone in Prom Queen and me. I'm super psyched for their new album, which is just about to come out. But yeah, I just didn't have time to do both.
Have you always been more of a hardcore kid than a metalhead?
Yeah, I would say so. Like, I listen to like soul music and hip hop more than anything, but like when it comes to live music, yeah, definitely like hardcore is where where my loyalties lie with that sort of stuff. Like, I've never been a huge metalhead. Certain bands and certain things grab me, but yeah, like if I had to pick a side, it would definitely be hardcore.
So which artists are your biggest influence, all over?
In general?
In general, yeah.
We could be here for a long time. I listen to a lot of different shit. I don't know, like one of my biggest influences is Biggie, even though we don't really sound like that. I rip off a lot of his lines, but we don't really sound like Biggie. But, anything from, Biggie to Hatebreed to, even though I just said I'm not really a metalhead, Soilwork, I love Soilwork. Like my musical taste is very eclectic, so I'd have to list off a lot of things if I was going to say all my influence. Anything that I listen to that speaks to me, I consider an influence, you know what I mean? Even though it might not necessarily directly influence a riff or a part in our song, if I've listened to it and it's touched me, then it's going to come out in our music at some point,
Deez Nuts seems to be all about not giving a shit, like doing what you want and not caring what other people think about it. But one thing you personally do really care deeply about is animal rights, huh?
Yeah.
How did you get started into that?
Well, I was brought up vegetarian by my mother, and when I turned like 23 or so, I decided to take the next step and be vegan once I'd been around people that kind of educated me more about the dairy industry and all that sort of stuff. And I took that next step and went vegan, and I've never looked back. And that's just something that's always like, for me, it's not that I'm a selfish person in other ways, but like I think that if you're a selfless person and you actually care about other people and other beings and their feelings and whatnot, then there's no other way to be than to be vegan. That's just my personal opinion.
Do you try to use your voice at all, in the music scene to talk about it, to spread it?
Yeah, like when I'm given the opportunity, I've done some stuff with Peter, where I've done cross-promotional stuff with them, and we've got one song called Go Veg, and we've got another song on the new album that was actually written by Kevin Cameron from Prom Queen, which is a animal rights song as well. But I don't like to beat people over the head with that shit, because as much as it is important to me, and I do like to have a message, we're the party band, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people like pushing their messages and doing that, and there's nothing wrong with that. People have to do that shit, but there's 99.9% of bands pushing a message. We're just trying to be that band that you can listen to when you don't want to think about that shit and you want to have a good time. So, when I wrote a Go Veg song, it was like, it lasts for like 10 seconds or something like that, you know what I mean? I was like, get my message across real quick and then get back to the partying.
How do you feel about the haters?
I give a fuck about them. They never put any money in my bank account. Why I give a fuck about the haters? No. Everyone's welcome to their opinion, and if you love our shit, much respect. If you don't like our shit, that's your opinion. I don't really care. It's fun. It's fun. There's a lot of shit I don't like. I just don't waste my time talking about it. That's the only thing that annoys me about haters, is like, why waste your breath talking shit about something when you could be doing something positive with that energy? That's my only thing.
You have a little girl in your life now, as a couple of weeks. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much.
How has that changed your view on things?
Dramatically, yeah. It's kind of shifted everything in my life in a positive way. But yeah, I definitely feel like a different person. But yeah, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. So, yeah.
What's it like knowing that you are gonna keep touring, doing this, and being away so much?
It's hard. Like, that's the hardest part. Like, having to leave, because she was born like 5 days before we left for tour, and the idea of leaving and having to leave her behind for I got to catch up with her a couple of days ago, and that was the first time within like 12 days I had away from her, and that felt like 12 months. You know what I mean? So that's something I'm going to have to get used to, and missing out on those little parts of her growing up while I'm away. But at the same time, if I'm going to be a good parent and provide for her and support her and be able to take care of her, then I've got to do my job correctly, and this is my job, so I've got to find a balance between the two.
So what's happening after this tour?
We finish up this tour and then we go to Russia, and then we go to Eastern Europe with Madball and Your Demise and Nasty, so that's going to be awesome.
And you started writing the new album?
We've started jamming some songs, but two of the boys live in New York and two of us live in Melbourne, so we don't really have much time off tour to rehearse and jam and stuff like that. So we're going to put aside some time at some point and start working on a new album, but at this point we're just kind of toying around with riffs and fucking around.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.